Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is my lair. Today we're unboxing another box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to PSA and got them back in this box, professionally packaged, safe and sound. Let me get them out of here and we'll look at what grades I get. Alright, let's go. Let's take a look at this 1999 Pokemon Fossil set. Mysterious Fossil, a first edition trainer, the number 62 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks really nice. I actually like the graphics on this card. There's no problems on the surface like creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right, I think, is a little bit towards the left. Centering from top to bottom looks pretty close to the spec or tolerance. Our corners and our edges are free of any damage that I can see. Taking a look at the back of the card, you can see that our centering from left to right and top to bottom all looks really close to the tolerances. Looking at our surface of the card, it is free of any damage like creases, bends, or scratches. Finally, looking at our corners and our edges, I think the right edge has some very slight damage, as does both upper corners. And this Mysterious Fossil is going to get a grade of 9. I'll take it. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Game Base 2 Butterfree, the number 34 card of this set. The graphics look awesome. I don't see any problems on the surface like creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think top to bottom is close to the tolerance or within. The left to right, I think it might be slightly towards the left, maybe out of tolerance. And our corners and our edges have no damage. Flipping the card over and looking at the back, our surface is free of any creases, bends, or other damage like scratches. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think those are all real close to the tolerance or within. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage on them at all. And this old Butterfree is going to get a grade of Gem Mint 10. That's awesome. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Game Base 2 Dodrio, the number 37 card of this set. Looking at the front graphics, they're very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's slightly towards the left. Centering from top to bottom looks pretty close to the tolerance. Looking at the corners and edges of this card, I do not see any damage. As you look to the back of the card, you can see that our centering from left to right and top to bottom is slightly towards the top and slightly to the right. Looking at our surface, it is free of any damage like creases, bends, or scratches. Our corners and edges are also free of any damage or any other problems. And they're going to give us a grade of 9. That's pretty darn good. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Game Base 2 Dratini, the number 38 card of this set. This card is very clean. I don't see any creases, bends, scratches, or any other problems on the graphics or surface of the card. Our centering from top to bottom, I think, is really close to the spec, maybe towards the top a little. Centering from left to right, I think that's within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and edges, I did not find any damage at all. Looking at the back of the card, our surface shows no damage like creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom is definitely a little bit towards the left and maybe a little bit towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are free of any damage that will affect a grade. And this old Dratini is going to get a grade of 9. That's not a bad grade. Check out this 2000 Pokemon Game Base 2 Exeggutor, the number 39 card of the set. I like the front of this card. It's very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, it's a little bit towards the left and maybe a little bit towards the top. Corners or edges, I do not see any damage or anything on them that will affect a grade. Taking a look at the back of the card, our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think is all really close to the tolerances or within. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see a little damage on the upper right corner. Looking at the surface of the card, I do not see any damage like creases, bends, or scratches, or any problems with the graphic. And they're going to give us a grade of 9. A lot of cards get that. Let me show you this 2000 Pokemon Game Base 2 Farfetch'd, the number 40 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks very clean. I do not see any problems on the graphics like creases, bends, scratches, or any other problems. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, left to right I think is within the tolerance. Top to bottom I think it's slightly towards the top, but could be within the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage. Looking at the back of the card, our surface shows no signs of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think, in my own opinion, is slightly towards the top, but maybe within the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, they are free of any damage. And that's going to get us a grade of Gem Mint 10. I'm really surprised with that. I think I should have only got a 9 in my opinion. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Game Base to Fearow, the number 41 card. Fearow's surface is very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's slightly towards the left. Centering from top to bottom, I think is within the tolerance. Looking at the corners and edges of this card, I do not see any damage. As we look at the back of the card, our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think is all really close to the tolerances, or might be just out. Looking at our surface, it's free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Looking at our surface, our edges and our corners, there's a slight, very slight couple specks of damage on that upper edge. And this old Fearow is going to get a grade of Mint 9. Man, that's a pretty good grade. Let's check out this 2000 Pokemon Game Base to Ivysaur, the number 44 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, the graphics are bright. The surface is free of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right is slightly towards the left. Centering from top to bottom, I think, is slightly towards the bottom. Looking at the corners and edges, I did not find any damage. The back of the card looks pretty good at a first glance, but you start looking at the surface, it is free of any damage like creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering, though, from left to right is really close to the tolerance. Centering from top to bottom, I think, is towards the bottom. Looking at our corners and our edges, I did not find any damage. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. Mint 9s aren't bad. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Game Base to Kadabra, the number 46 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, I like the graphics on it. The surface is free of any scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are all really close to the tolerances or within. Our corners and our edges look very clean and free of any damage. Looking at the back of the card, our surface is clean and free of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think, are all within or close to the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, they are very clean and free of any damage. This should be a good card. And the grade we're going to get is a Gem Mint 10. Wow, perfecto. Look at this 2000 Pokemon Game Base to Machoke, the number 49 card of the set. The front looks very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. The graphics look bright and clean. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's slightly towards the left. Centering from top to bottom, I think those are within the tolerance. Corners and edges, I think, are free of any damage. The back of the card looks really great. There's no creases, bends, or scratches on the surface. Our centering from left to right is slightly towards the right, I think, and maybe a little towards the top. Our corners and edges, I did not find any damage that would affect a grade. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. Man, those are all right. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the cards I showed and this video. Please like and subscribe, and always remember, you got to catch them all. Have an awesome day.